You're welcome, April. Okay. Okay, guys, so it's 12:05. I'm going to go ahead and begin. So welcome to my stretch lab. My name is Anai, for those who do not know me. I am a staff here with Employee Health Services. I am Kevin's assistant. I am a certified personal trainer, and I'm going into my second year of physical therapy school. So we're going to get into our stretch lab by first talking about the benefits of stretching. So as we all know, stretching decreases muscle stiffnesses and increases range of motion. It trains the muscle to reduce risk of injury. And this is really important um, because it can delay your progress when it comes to exercising. Just recently, we had a young lady in our exercise classes, specifically our step classes, where it deals with a platform up and down the step.
Thank you.
Just make sure if you, when you're coming in, to repeat, to mute your mics. So we had a young lady who in the class, she collapsed during the class because she had a tight muscle, and she sprained that muscle because of those repetitive movements. So again, if you're not stretching your muscle, you're reducing or increasing your chance of injury. So you want to make sure that you're targeting muscles, incorporating it into your exercise programs. Stretching also reduces DOMS, which is delayed onset muscle soreness, because it helps loosen up those muscles as you're shortening them throughout the exercise. It improves posture. This is a big one because people think posture a lot has to deal with weakness, which it does. It's half and half. So, for example, forward head posture is often seen in people who are in front of computers a lot. So, if you're over here typing, you can see that people tend to have rounded shoulders. Their head is forward, and it produces a lot of strain and stress in their back and in their neck. Um, so not only are these muscles weak back here, not pulling that back, but also because the muscles up here, the chest tends to be really tight. So helping stretching this also helps these muscles during strengthening. So opening this up allows it to be pulled back. It helps with reducing muscle tension and stress. So again, back to that forward head posture. If you're like this, um, your body is going to act on the stresses it's placed. So again, it places stresses on your neck, but also it can place stresses on other parts of your body. So for example, if you're forward like this, reaching above your head can cause shoulder pain. And we see that a lot with people who have shoulder impingement, these overhead reaches. So if you're somebody who works a lot overhead, doing work up here, um, that increases your chance of getting shoulder pain. So again, opening certain muscles up, making sure they're lengthening properly so that the other muscles can work properly, and it doesn't increase your risk of injury. Stretching also promotes circulation, and decreases your risk of low back pain and headaches, which again is caused by those tight muscles or by muscles that are not trained to produce fast lengthening movements. So again, with the low back pain, you might pull a back muscle for the fast movements, not training those muscles to produce a certain lengthening. So again, stretching helps with that. Guys, just make sure you're coming in and you're muting your mic. I think, let me see if I can do it. I put it in the setting to make sure people know. Okay. So going into the different types of exercises, so there's a lot of different types, and it's all depending on what your goal is. So we have ballistic, dynamic, active, passive, static, isometric, and PNF stretching. So ballistic, you've probably seen it. It's kind of like a bouncing type of movement. You've probably seen runners do it, just kind of do a quick stretch to the muscle. And the whole point of this is to just fire up that muscle to awaken it, waking up those nerves and telling the brain, letting it know, okay, it's time to do something. So this is good for warm-ups. Dynamic stretching is also really good for warm-ups. The difference between that one and ballistic is dynamic stretching is more specific to a task. So for example, a baseball player might do more controlled swings, a few swings before he does the big home run swing. So doing controlled movements, a runner might do open and close gates to kind of open up those hip muscles and do some stretches. So these two are good for warming up the muscle. They're not so good if you only do these as your form of stretching. They're not so good as to create permanent changes within that muscle length. So for this, we always tell people to remember the 30-second rule. If you want that muscle to actually cause some permanent length and increase that range of motion, hold it for 30 seconds, because most likely if you're doing just these bouncing movements, you're not allowing that muscle to kind of to unwind. So it needs a little bit more time. So holding it at least for 30 seconds triggers those nerves and allows your muscle to remember, because muscle does has muscle memory. So active stretching is really good for that. It's kind of like dynamic stretching, but it's kind of a stretch, holding it in that position without any external forces on it. So we do this one for our active straight leg raise during Pro Club, which you've all probably seen, just picking up the leg. And the whole point of this one is while the muscle is stretching on one side, the other muscle on the other end is contracting to pull that muscle. So for example, in the straight leg raise that y'all do for Pro Club, the quads are contracting, having to bring that leg up while the hamstrings are lengthening. So it's a give and take with that one. For static stretching, this is the most common one. It's the hold where an external force is holding you. So for example, this straight leg raise, the gentleman at the bottom is using, it looks like a rubber band. I do not recommend that. If you're gonna use something to stretch your hamstrings like that, use something that won't come back into your face like that. Use like a towel, a sweater, or a yoga rope. We have yoga ropes over at the office. So if you ever want to check one out, you're more than welcome to. And then isometric stretching is a kind of a contraction relax one. I can teach you, I wanted to teach you guys that today if we get to it at the end for your hamstrings. And what that does, it basically activates that muscle so that it can get it to relax. And then a PNF stretching is a more advanced type of stretching. I won't get into that one too much, but it's a series of steps that kind of does the same thing as isometric, where it's contracting, relaxing, and then contracting the other way, and then relaxing. So it's using all the muscles around it. And if you ever want to learn how to do that, if you feel like you're progressed to that stage, you can definitely make an appointment with me, and we can go through that. So again, remember the 30-second rule if you want like permanent change. So foam rolling, I don't know if I'm going to get to foam rolling today just because it is an entire thing in itself. I might do a second series, most likely with foam rolling, to go through how you can foam roll the entire body. And what foam rolling is, it's not technically a stretch, it's more of a self massage. So it has the same benefits of stretching, where it relieves muscle soreness, inflammation, and increased joint motion. It's great for people who work out every day. You'll see athletes do this, and research shown that it's helped them in their performance. And what it does is it targets large muscle groups. And again, I think I might just do a separate video with this on how you can target, and I can teach you guys how to foam roll your entire body. And it is amazing. I do this every morning. I have a foam roll in my office. They're a great investment. And it feels, again, like great stress relief. The whole point, if you ever want to try foam rolling, so if you find videos and you want to do it, or you've always just want to do it inside the gym, just make sure if you try it, don't go over bony prominences. So for example, if you're foam rolling your leg, I wouldn't foam roll an arm, but if you're foam rolling your leg, you want to start the foam roll right in the middle, so that when you're going back and forth, you're getting it even across the muscle. Because if you start down here, you can go over the joint, and that can cause a lot of stress on that joint. So you just target the large muscle groups. And when you apply the pressure, if you're first beginning, it might be a tense. So try to apply firm, soft pressure and hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. You just kind of want to go back and forth And if you feel like a really tender spot, hold that right there until it kind of decreases that stress. So the next we have upper and lower body stretches that I want to run through. I picked these stretches because I think they're the best stretches that target specific muscles in your body. So I'm going to run through them briefly, and then at the end we're going to do a desk stretch where you can do this either sitting down at your desk, and it's going to be a quick 5 minutes. And then if we have time after that, I can show y'all how to do this isometric stretching for your hamstrings. Really good for people in Pro Club who have to do the test, and then foam rolling. So for the upper body, I'm just going to start from top to low. So for the neck stretches, we have a quick side bending. And before you do the side bend, what I like to tell people is to kind of reach their arm back behind them. And the whole point of this is it targets the traps. So we want to lower this right here where the trap is attached to, and just side bend away to get that nice stretch. And you can use your fingers too to kind of assist yourself, but you don't want to put too much pressure, just light finger to give into a deeper stretch. So that targets right here. And if you want to target the back ones, which is the lower and upper traps, you can turn and rotate your head away and look down at the ground. Y'all are going to see a double chin, y'all, excuse me. So target, and you can hold that stretch. And then if you want to target your levator scap, which is another muscle that people have a lot of problems with back there, is you can just do, again, the side bending. You can even flex your head a little bit forward and then look at your armpit, the same side armpit, to get a deeper stretch. So that's good for neck stretches. You can do it on the other side too. The next one that we have up is this bicep stretch down here. It's good for people who are always carrying things or always having to be in this position. For this bicep stretch, I like to use a wall, or you can even use your desk. You're just going to take your arm and kind of take it off of your trunk a little bit. You're going to bring it back, and you see my thumb? I'm bringing my thumb back here. And then I'm going to extend my elbow, grab the desk here, and just kind of turn away. And you should feel that stretch in your bicep. So that's good to do at the desk too. The next one we have is a tricep one, which is the back of your arm right here. You've probably seen people do it where they have their head and kind of pull their elbow back. That's a way you can do it. But if you have shoulder pain, a safe way to do it is across your chest and bringing it over. So that's a good one for the triceps. The next one we have is a doorway chest stretch. And this one is really good, again, to open up these chest muscles. If you are someone like me that's in front of a computer all day and you have rounded shoulders, bringing that open, going up against a door frame and just kind of pressing into it and rotating away so that this muscle gets that full stretch is really good. You can also, another one that I like to do for this one is a yoga ball. I like to just lay down on a yoga ball and let my arms just kind of go out so that it opens everything up. And it's funny because my door will be open and you just see me on the yoga ball just laying like this. So it's good to open up that chest. Another one is the lat stretch. For this one, it opens, stretches this huge back muscle that you have in the back. If you're someone who does back day, this is a great one. I do it here at my desk because I am short enough. I can just put my shoulders up here and just bring my head down and my back straight down. But if you're a tall person, I am not, you can use your chair too as well. So if you just rotate your chair the other way and then bring your elbows up here, and you're just going to go straight down. And notice my back is not curved, it's straight. And bring that overhead. So that's good for the upper body. And then next we have the lower body. So the first stretch that we can get into is called a runner stretch. This is great, again, if you're someone who sits at a desk from 9 to 5. those hip flexors, your hip muscles are going to be very tight because you're sitting in this position all day. So to open that up, you want to extend your leg back while bringing the other leg forward. You can do this on your chair at your desk, or you can get down on the ground and do it. I have, thankfully, a massage table in my office, so I can show you guys how to do this one. You can either do it again sitting on a chair, kind of like the gentleman in the picture, or you can get down on the floor. So you're just kind of going to do a runner's lunge, and then you're going to lean forward to make sure all this is stretched out. And if you want a deeper stretch, make sure you're holding on to something. And with the hand that where the leg is down on the ground, you're going to bring it over to the other side. And this is great for the hip flexors and also for your back. You have a muscle inside of here that does side bending that it also targets. So that's great to do. Next, we have the piriformis stretch. This one is great for glutes. If you have tight glutes, this one targets it. You can either do it sitting at your desk, which is really, really easy. You just put your ankle up onto your opposite knee. And you may not feel it if you do that, but if you push down gently into your knee and lean forward, you'll be able to feel it. And if you have low back pain, you can do the reverse one where you're laying down and you bring your, this one is kind of a series of steps too. So I can show you guys how to do this one for people with low back pain. When you're laying down like this, first you're gonna bring the leg over, and then you're gonna grab the opposite leg and bring it forward. And then if you want a deeper stretch, go ahead and press into that knee. And notice I'm doing all of this very slowly. Again, some of these muscles are not trained to do these fast, quick lengthening movements. So when you're doing these stretches, make sure you're doing them gentle and slow. So the next one that we have is an abductor stretch or adductor stretch. This targets the muscles in your inner thighs. You can do it on the floor. I like to just get up in the morning. If you're up in bed, you can just sit on the side of your bed, bring your leg up so that it's straight out, and just kind of rotate away. And you can feel it all right here. And that's a good stretch for the inner thighs. We also have the outer thighs. So the IT band is something that people find a lot tightness in. You can do this at your desk, just bringing the foot up and around and hugging your knee, or you can do it sitting down, bringing the knee over on the other side and then hugging your knee so that it gets that stretch right here. The next one that we have is a calf stretch. So the calf stretch, there's two types of calf stretches. There is the gastro stretch, which is when your leg is straight. So you see this lady, she has her leg straightened out, which targets the bigger muscle. But then a lot of people miss the smaller muscle that does most of the work, which if you bend the knee, you'll be able to feel that deeper stretch. I don't know if you can see it if I do it down here, but if I get like an incline, I'm going to use a weight right here, right there. So I can bring it forward with my leg straight and lean forward. And then if I want a deeper stretch, I just bend the knee and come forward. Both great if you're a runner, really good stretches. And then the last one I have is for people who have a lot of feet pain and feet tightness. I do. I have a lot of feet pain. I think I'm on the verge of getting fasciitis under there, but this one's a great stretch. You take your hand that's closest to this side of the leg, pull down the heel so that your toe is a little pointed. And then you're going to grab with your other hand, push your toes back for a deep foot stretch. So if you have foot pain, that's really good to do. So those are all great stretches. So what we're going to get into now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, And do we have time? Oh, it looks like we're a little bit over, you guys, but if you have time, if you have to go, that's okay. I'm going to send in the form.
I have to go also, but I just went ahead and put some links in there when you were doing the stretches for the yoga ropes. There's some Amazon Prime Days deals today if anybody's interested in getting one for themselves. But I gotta head out. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Yes, so the yoga ropes are really great to use if you're somebody who can't get over. So for example, that piriformis stretch, the stretch that we use, if you can't get your arms under, you can use a towel or a yoga rope to pull those stretches into place. And again, you want to do this all gently and very slowly. So I put in the sign-in form inside the chat. Just if you have to go, that's okay. We are over time. Which means I'm just going to do the foam rolling video in the next presentation. But if you have time, let's do a quick desk stretch. So that's okay, Kristen, thank you so much for coming. So we're going to do a quick desk stretch by rolling the shoulders back. We're just kind of warming up those muscles right now, doing a dynamic stretching, warming those shoulders back. And then next, we're going to go ahead and rotate our head over very slowly, you guys. If this is your first time stretching this muscle in a long time, you could feel a little bit of pain and tension. Just make sure you're doing it slow and controlled. And next, we're going to go ahead and get into our neck stretches. Remember, put your arm behind your back and go ahead and gently side bend over. And then hold. And now we're going to go over to the other side slowly. Make sure you bring your arm behind you and over to the other side. And you can rotate if you need to get that deeper stretch. Sweet. Okay. So now we're going to get into our triceps. So go ahead and bring your arm across your chest and go ahead and stretch over. We're going to hold that for 3, 2, 1. Over to the other side. So this is great to do at your desk. And then now we're going to get into our bicep stretch. So again, you can hold onto something behind you and lean away. So I'm rotating away from my hand and going to the other side. And then now the other end. And now I'm going to do the other arm and get into that. You can even see it. I kind of got a little bit going on right there. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is get into your piriformis stretch, which is the glute stretch again. So if you remember, bringing this up and pushing this down gently and leaning forward. I'm just going to hold that because that's really tight. Now this is a big one for people. And then over to the other side. Push it down gently and lean forward. All right. And then the next one we can do is a runner stretch. You can kind of get into it in this position. I have one glute on the chair and the other one down and bringing it forward. And then you could do the opposite end too. And bringing it forward. And then the last thing we'll do is a quick feet stretch. So again, we'll bring our feet up and do our feet stretch up. And you can even go down too if all this is sore right here. And now the other side. All right, you guys, so that's all I have for today. I'm sorry I went overtime. I hope this was able to be useful. I'm gonna go ahead and send in the form one more time. And you guys are free to go. Let me know if y'all have any questions. Email me if y'all have any answers, or if you want to set up an appointment with me to do any stretching labs. I love to stretch and I love to teach people how to stretch. So let me know. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. You're welcome, you guys.
Thanks. That was good.
You're You're welcome.
Good job, Anahi.
Thanks, Kev. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do the foam rolling on a separate video.
Yeah, it's a lot of good information as far as stretching. Rod and I over here doing them now.
Oh yeah.
And I think there should be like a two-part series to this stretch one because it's still a lot of good stuff that we can include.
Oh, let me.
Here she goes. Good job, Professor.
You're welcome. Thomas, I see your message. I'm gonna write that down on my notes right now, okay? So Keith Hampson, I'll make sure he gets his points too. Keith Hampson. Okay, I got you guys both, okay? All right, you guys. So if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys for watching.